Ruth Steenburg.
Question one. What was life like in Cherry Valley before World War II?
Oh, we were a little small school, small village. Most people worked at either the chair factory and the creamery. Many farmers came in from outside, brought their milk. And the new school had not yet been built, and most of the children went to local schools outside the village.
Could you?
I knew that was, I heard,
This is an interview with Ruth Steenburg.
Question one. What was life like in Cherry Valley before the war?
By about 1930, no, before the war. Well, it was a small town, mostly run, the occupation was lumbering, and they had the chair factory down here, which hired many people, and the creamery, where all the farmers came in. The school had not yet, was still a smaller school than it is today. Students came in from outside the village, and school buses brought all the students in.
Could you please describe your position in the war?
I was an Army nurse. We took care of the wounded soldiers. My first assignment was down to Fort Dix, where I was oriented, and I was sent to with a MASH unit to the Southwest Pacific area, New Guinea, where we took care of the soldiers. And then as the troops progressed, we skipped over each other until we were at the end of the line. Most of us in the tropics, we had many, there was more disease than it was gunshots or wounds, because we had malaria, which is very prevalent, dengue fever. And there were several units that took care of each area. And it followed, like I was with the 49th area, the command. And we followed the troops up as they progressed.
Do you remember the day that the men left from Cherry Valley to go to the war?
No, because I was not here at that time. I was already down in New York City, and I enlisted in the Army from New York City. At the time I was working at Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center. So I don't know. I left Cherry Valley in 1940, I guess. Or no, I left Cherry Valley in 1930. And from then on, I don't know what happened in Cherry Valley very much.
On December 7th, 1941, do you remember where you were?
Yes. I was down at Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center. And I was working down there when we heard that the war had begun in the Southwest Pacific. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yeah. And, how did that make you feel?
Well, I guess I had the same feelings most people had it. This is something we had to take care of.
After the war, when you came back, how had the town changed from what you remember?
Well, I came back in 1961, so that's quite a long time. The road here had been changed. It no longer went directly through Cherry Valley. The main route went outside of Cherry Valley. They'd moved the monument, which had been in the middle of the street, they'd moved that back to by the sidewalk. And then school had been enlarged. There'd been many changes. At one time, Cherry Valley had 2 drugstores and 3 or 4 big stores, and at that time, many of the stores had closed. And the main occupation place for people to work, for the men to work, the chair factory had burned down.
Do you think that when the sawmill burned down that it ruined the railway
I don't know, this was just a stop for, the railroad stop. But, there really is nothing beyond this. It just came in and picked up the milk, I guess, and, the manufacturer and some lumber, that's about, and, they did do a lot of business in hay. And in all the years they come, the railroad took a lot of hay. But as far as, I really don't know, because I wasn't here.
With the Route 20 bypass, did you think that was a good thing? Did you think that helped Cherry Valley at all?
Well, I think, I know some people were very disappointed that it had not come through, but when you think about it, if you had all this traffic coming through now, what would be in Cherry Valley, you have a tie-up now, what would be if you had the main route going through, there just wasn't enough space to have it. There wasn't wide enough streets, enough area to put in bigger sidewalks areas.
Before the war, like, where was like the most popular place for the teenagers in Cherry Valley to hang out?
I think Cadry Hall probably, because at that time I don't know what priest was there, but he had music and he had the kids come up there and they had dances and they had parties. But, I really don't know where another place they went. I guess they had dances at the village hall. I really don't know where they had their entertainment.
Like, how had it changed after? Did they still hang out at Carey Hall, or was it
Here
like
now?
the times kind of changed?
What year do you mean? From when?
From when you came back, in the 60s, had it changed to what it used to be?
Well, for one thing, they had a larger school.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a lot of entertainment, I believe, down to the school. And all their sports activities were held at the school. Whereas before, when I played basketball and all, we had to go up to the village hall because we had no gym or anything to play in. And then after the larger school became usable, they had all their parties and everything there. I guess, I don't know.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add about Cherry Valley, how it's changed throughout the years?
Well, how far do you want to go back?
Right before the war. Before World War II.
Before the war came up?
Mhm.
Well, let me see. Before, let's see, 1930, figure back then. I really don't know, because I went to school down way back.
Mhm.
You want to go way back?
If you'd like to take us there.
Sure. Well, that was before even the schools, the kids came to school down here at the main school. They all went to local area schools, and one of those area schools was up by, you know where Livengoods live now, or Dibbles, up on, over, do you know where that is? We had a school bus, which was a horse and wagon that came and picked us up and took us to school. And we had a gathering there, and they brought us down to the main school. And at night they'd bring us home. And in the winter time we had horse and sleighs that they came and picked us up. That's the way we went to school. My two brothers and sisters went to school up in the old schoolhouse, which is a little local school. And every morning the teacher appointed somebody that they had to go down to my grandmother's, where the Dibbles live now, and get their water, and get a bucket of water, and you had your dipper that you had in there. And that was your water supply. And all they had was the outside toilets. And then when the school, I think this school came into about 1913, didn't it, Kathy?
Probably.
Around that?
The Lancaster School was first.
Was that the Lancaster
Wasn't it?
school? No, I don't think so. No. I don't know. But anyway, when they started down we started down here at school. And that school was closed up. And we thought that was a pretty good school until we see now what you kids have. We had no gym, no nothing. We had to go up to the old village hall and change our clothes and play basketball. No showers. And we had no lunches. We always had to carry our lunch, our little dinner pail. And I know one time, the first time we saw a colored person was when the Greens were cattle dealers. They had a colored man come to town, and he worked for them. We thought that was kind of curiosity. And we, for school, once in a while, you'd get a trip to Oneonta. At that time, we thought that was a real tour to the city. And that was our trips. Go shopping. We never thought of having, like when the spring of the year or during the season, the year's holiday season, that you could take a trip to Washington or somewhere. We never had any tours or any of that. Then Cherry Valley used to be a great place for the St. Patrick's Day dance. And that was one of the biggest affairs of the season. And they used to have an artist from New York or from Albany, called Professor Zitta. And they used to come in on the railroad, and they'd stay overnight. Remember that, Kathy?
No, that's before me.
Was that before you?
Henry Whitbeck was talking about that yesterday.
That was one of the affairs of the year.
And that was held at,
And that was held in the old village hall.
see, I used to go to the village hall to dances, but there was no railroad when I went.
Wasn't it?
No.
The railroad, I think they used to have the railroad came in 2 or 3 times a day. A car came in from Copelskill. I think Albany connected with Copelskill, and then it came into Cherry Valley. And then up where the Livengoods live up now in that area, there used to be an old cheese factory, and they used to make cheese up there. And
That's right next to the school, just above the school.
yeah. And Jay Spraker used to be the cheese maker. And we used to take our bucket and pay him to go and get some cheese curd, which we really thought was great. Then all the kids from all the areas came around and down in the school bus when school was in sessions. You better be on time because if you were late, you walked to town. What else do you want to know? Oh, the other one. I still can barely remember this when I was very small. They used to have hop yards. And they used to have the hop pickers come from Albany and around, and they all came in on the train, and they had places for them to stay, and they had to furnish their meals, and they got very small pay. And then they picked hops for the fall season. And all this area was hop country. And people came and picked hops.
They bring their whole family? The
I don't know
children?
I don't know whether they brought, I remember, the only one I can remember is Helen Alder. Do you remember Helen Alder?
Oh, yes.
Well, I can remember her mother being up picking hops one time. But I don't ever remember kids coming. It was mostly the old folks. And you had to furnish places for them to live while they were picking hops on your farm. We had a hop farm. And it seemed to me there were an awful lot of people up there working. And then they had to put the hops in the hop house and cure it. And then after it was cured, they baled it, and it was shipped out. And this was one of the greatest hop growing areas at that time, but until the blue hop moss got into it, and it ruined all the hop farms around here. What else would you like to know?
That's all my questions. You guys have anything from yours?
You know about Old Cherry Valley Day? You want to say anything about
Oh,
that?
yeah, we used to have Cherry Valley Day. That used to be a great day. Kathy, you must remember those, don't you?
Well, not way back. I'm younger.
Let me see if I can remember anything about that. You know, I was gone a long time from Cherry Valley, so I don't remember these things. But there used to be, it had all kinds of races. There'd be foot races, water races, the firemen had big doings.
What time of year was that?
Sometime in summer. I remember you used to have sack races, and all the kids would get in and have a race, and they always gave nice prizes. They gave money. That time that was a good prize. And then what other kinds of holidays they have? I can't remember any of the other holidays, but there used to be, this used to be a stopping off for all the tourists coming from Buffalo through to Albany. And at one time there was 3 hotels around this area. And the Bagley Hotel was a place where you could tie your horses or your carriage while you went to church or to the movies. And they had movies every Saturday night. And people come in on Sunday and go to the shed and tie their horse and go to church.
Would a church be like where you go for entertainment maybe? Or for social functions? Would the church be like the center of fun? I mean, did they have functions that...
I don't ever remember the church had too much, no. Because everybody was too busy to go to church, I guess. They just went to church on Sunday and that was about it, maybe. I don't even remember, you know, now they have church suppers and all, but I don't ever remember going to church suppers.
Do you have anything on the 4th of July or on Memorial Day here? 'Cause now they have a parade on the 4th of July.
They have, over East Springfield, they have the 4th of July parade.
How about in Cherry Valley? Do they have one there?
Kathy, do you want to get son will just come and visit?
Hello?
Oh,
This is Ruth Steenburg. How can I hear you?
Ask who's calling.
I just thought maybe that was an entertainment thing or something.
No. I think the firemen used to put on most of their big entertainments that we had, because that was always a big time. And they'd bring and have waterworks, and I guess everybody got pretty high. Used to be a lot of problems. Yeah, one time there was 3 grocery stores and a clothing store. But now everything is gone.
So did you buy all your groceries in Cherry Valley?
Oh yeah, everybody shopped in Cherry Valley. They had no transportation otherwise, Kathy, because they had no cars. I mean, the cars didn't come in here and talk here until... when I had my appendix out in 1917, at that time, I had to go to Cooperstown. They took me by horse and buggy, horse and carriage, over to the head of the lake, and I got on put me on the boat, and there was a nurse on the boat, and took me down to the, what was then the Thanksgiving home, is now the Clara Wells Thanksgiving home. The new Bassett Hospital was not built. And it was just a small hospital.
Do you feel like the community was like closer back?
Oh yeah. Because now most of the people around here, we don't know half the people that live around here anymore. All the old folks have either moved out or have died, and the kids have moved away. They just so many people are in.
Do you think that that's hurt the town?
Pardon?
Do you think that that's hurt the town in a way that it used to?
It's a completely different town now, because most of the people go out to work, and they go, they go out and work over at the Benson Hospital. And at one time, most of the people worked at Schenectady or up to Ilion. And there's really no occupation here after, during the wartime. I guess they had a lot, didn't they, Kathy? Did all the people go to?
I don't remember any of that, really.
You don't remember
I
that?
lived out in the country, and I didn't have much to do with the village.
See, I wasn't
Come
here
in
during
here.
those periods of time, and I
Yeah.
don't remember too much, except I know all the people worked at Ilion and Bassett and Schenectady.
Yes, that's true, yes.
Yeah. There's no occupation in Cherry Valley at all. They had probably Henry told you about the baseball hall, where they made baseball down here in the village hall. And that had employed, I don't know how many women that employed. And that was about the only business there was. The monument works. I don't know of any other occupation there was. Well, the creamery at one time hired a lot of people. And then they had an Agway at one time. And all these places have just closed up because the people work out of town and they don't patronize the stores. Then when before the medical center came in, we didn't even have a doctor. For a while they had old Doc Yates and Dr. Gillette, and they died and no doctors came in. Dr. Myers, I guess that was about the end of the area when you had a doctor. If you had any illness or anything, you had to go to Cooperstown. And then the medical center came down here, which is a great help, takes care of the patients. When my sister and I both retired, they said that we were the medical center. If we were retired, they'd hate to be, because we had so many people come into the house that we'd like a clinic. Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I can give